we're so excited and expanded. Okay. Yes, dear ones, let's return and give our full attention to Anja. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Relax. Yes. As I said, we're getting so activated and expanded that it's like little kids. We can't sit in our seat hardly, but please come back for one more great teaching. Here comes Omnec to share in the space with us here, the one that is sort of responsible for this. Venus and I. Yes, our beloved sister Anja here is getting ready to share her many experiences being the bridge to Venus, to bring this energy, this love, this light into Earth in a real way, and how we can, in this chair up here, bring her to this chair. You want to? Yes, dear hearts. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's start breathing together. Breathe in. Breathe out. We start to just slow it down, become present, just relax. Find our center here together, holding the space, the field of brilliance where it's just an inner feeling of joy and love and well-being. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for your attention, your presence. And get ready. Fasten your invisible seat belts. We're not going to really have seat belts because we just want to be feeling so free, just to allow our sister to take us on this great journey here now around the love of Venus's mission to Earth. Thank you, everyone. Welcome, Anja Schäfer.
Can I use this one? Yes? Okay. Yes, thank you. The backup. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me well? Yes. Okay. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Anja and I'm from Germany, and you can hear it with my I mean, I'm not perfect, so as Omnec always said, I'm a perfect human being, but I'm not a perfect native English speaker, so you have to be patient with me. But I have been working with Omnec now for almost 30 years, and I know that I learned English at school just to be prepared eventually to work with her. So I'm kind of prepared, and I guess the spiritual stuff, and when it comes to the experiences, I think I can express everything that I want to express. I just can't speak scientifically or technical stuff or anything that's complicated. Baby English? Well, it's a little bit better. Oh, yes, you speak German, baby German. Yes. So, first of all, welcome everybody, and I can't express how thankful and how grateful I am that I may stand here. This is really, I never dreamt that, and I never expected that I would stand in Mount Shasta at the summer conference speaking about my work and my experiences in front of people. This is, so thank you for everybody who is here listening to me. And I hope I can share something with you that is of value for you and that inspires you or that gives you any kind of energy or love or whatever. So what I would like to talk about today, Venus and I is the title of what I have prepared. So because Venus and I is the title of the book that I suddenly wrote in March this year, I can really say it happened. It was a spontaneous stream of consciousness, and I wrote it in 2 weeks while I was on my vacation in Turkey. And then when I returned home to Germany, I finished it within the next 2 or 3 days, and right after that I published it in German, and parallelly I translated it to English, because I thought when I'm coming to America in June and when I'm here, I would love to have something from my own self to share with the American people, of course. And so I had this amazing, these amazing proofreaders helping me, because I split all the chapters, I split the whole books in various chapters and shared it with friends. And so they helped me proofreading it, and that's why it's already published in English so fast as well. And in the beginning, I wrote a disclaimer, especially for the native English speakers, because there might still be some German style in it, but it should be a relatively readable English, or relatively well readable, I guess. Well, and the book is, of course, about what you see here. So it's about the subtitle is My Journey of Coming to Remembrance of My Soul Mission, 25 Years with Omnec Onec. And it all began navigating over me, helping me also to find my way. I mean, for those of you who don't know Omnec, just in a few words, she's, from my perspective, or from what I know, the only Venusian on Earth that is in public and who was brought to Earth with her own manifested physical body at the age, as a little child. So she's not a walk-in, but she came with her full memory, with her full consciousness, because she came with a mission. And this was in 1955 when she was physically exchanged. There was but this is something that we are going to talk about in detail in the evening when Omnec is sharing more about her life story. So my soul remembrance and why I'm here, why I'm probably born, and why I'm here today is that through my encounter with Omnec and through my whole life at her side as her assistant and her friend, her soul companion, her bodyguard, her translator, her manager, her chauffeur, her cook, her bridge to the world. I mean, I'm the one who is technically able to deal with computers and to do all that stuff and manage everything. And Omnec is just Omnec, you know. So she always needed somebody to ground her and to bring her information to the world. And this was and has been and is my job. And now, since I have received another upgrade personally last year, I mean spiritual upgrade, I'm here and talking myself and suddenly wrote a book. So in the last 25 years, I was mostly in the back. I was mostly supporting Omnec and not really talking on my own. And so now the energies and our guidance obviously wants me to step forward. And so that's what I what I have to do and what I do and why I'm here. Yeah. So this is in 1997 or 98, nobody really knows so exactly. And this is in Bavaria, in southern Germany, in my bookstore. So the story began, and actually a little bit prior to that, in 1994 approximately, I was still living in Berlin, in my home city, and I turned on the TV, and there was Omnec sitting, and she gave an interview in a TV show. Maybe some of you don't know that Omnec was spiritually guided very, very early, in the early 90s, to Germany, and since then she was almost only teaching and working in Germany, in no other country in the world. And so this is what happened. She, her book, the first book, From Venus I Came, her autobiography, was published in German in 1992, 3 or so. And then she gave public appearances, and she showed up in TV interviews and in newspapers and so on. And I turned on the TV, and there she sat, and she was pretty much looking like that. And she immediately caught my attention, because she was, for example, saying things like, imagination is the key to creation. And it impressed me, because I had never ever before heard somebody talking these kind of things in the TV, and she was just having this beauty and this charisma of calmness and of love, and she was so sincere and authentic, and my soul was directly, right away, touched. And I just remembered 3 things when this was over, this TV, this moment. I remembered her name, Omnec Onec. I remembered how she looked. I remembered the book title, From Venus I Came. In German, it's Ich kam von der Venus. And I remembered this, imagination is the key to creation. So it was like a seed planted somewhere within me. And then I was guided to leave my home city, Berlin, to move to Bavaria, and to fulfill one of my dreams that I had at that time, and that was opening my own esoteric bookstore. And when I opened this bookstore, I did my first big book purchase, you know. I was a book freak, I have always been a book freak, and so I was really yes, it was just exciting, because a friend, she borrowed me. What? Well, no, this is something. What? No. Don't interrupt my stream. This, I was at a book wholesaler, and I ordered for 30,000 marks at that time. I ordered books, and one book, the most important book that I bought, was Omnec's From Venus I Came. This is what happened. I didn't go home with a book, with a cart of I don't know, thousands of books. It was really a lot. It was thousands of books. Please. So anyway, this is when I read her book for the first time, yeah? And her autobiography, I can only recommend everybody who has not read it yet, please read it, because it is the purest, most beautiful story about the astral level of Venus that you can ever read. She is really in this book revealing everything about the history of Venus, the Venusian, the ancestries, how she was born there on the astral level, not on the physical level, on the astral level, and how beautiful this plane is. All these colors and the love that the people share and the wisdom of the masters and the city Teutonia and about the spaceships and everything. And you know, when I read this book, I felt like my heart was starting to open, and I felt like, wow, this is home. This is, if I can choose what I want to believe in, then this is what I want to believe in. This is my choice. And a few weeks later, I read her second book. I have all the books, by the way, over there. I republished everything, so everything is available here. And the second book was at that time Handbook of Venusian Spirituality. And after I read that book, I decided that I have to meet this woman, that I really want to see her personally. And I called the publisher, and they told me, yes, she is here, she's in Germany, and if you want to organize something, we can also come to your place if you want to organize a workshop and a lecture for her. And at that time, I cannot tell you, this was probably the happiest moment of my life until this point of my life. And I was 27. I was really bouncing through my shop after I heard that, and we made the arrangement for just 3 weeks after. And I was extremely full of happiness and full of energy. I was like, wow, the woman from Venus is coming to my little shop in Bavaria, and I'm allowed to organize a workshop. This was something that at that time I was just extremely, extremely happy about that. Yes, and this is how I met Omnec. So 3 weeks after, she floated in with a Mercedes with her former manager, and when she stepped out of this car, you know, she looked like an angel with her big white boots and this hair, and she looked so elegant. And the first thing that she said was, "I have to go to the toilet." And that's so normal, right? And still you think like, okay, oh my goodness, a Venusian, of course she has to go to the toilet, why not? And so this was the first little grounding, you know. A few years after, when we were really already very, very close, I was looking at her when we were also seeing each other. We were sharing a bed in a hotel and everything. And I was astonished because I said, you know, you have a belly button? I don't understand that. If you're not born on Earth, why do you have a belly button? And she said, well, if I wouldn't have a belly button, they would put me in a circus. Right? You remember? Yes, exactly. And later on, I understood it all because, of course, she was. I mean, it's just a perfect twin manifestation, because she accompanied her twin, another girl, during the birth process, and this is how she explained that she had the same genetic imprints, and this is how she was looking like a twin, and that's how she could be replaced through this other child physically without anybody ever noticing this, so that she doesn't have any specific marks or so that make her really look like an alien. I mean, she's alien enough, but not outside. Yeah. So, what else? Yeah, this is what I already mentioned. Yeah, this is one of my favorite images. It's in the book, of course. This is, Omnec is going to talk about this later during her talk as well. This is the astral plane. The thing is that it's so colorful and that it is so beautiful and that everything is so much in harmony with the surroundings, and it's just, yeah, it's just paradise. And I learned from Omnec later that, but this is, of course, now I'm a little bit ahead, I'm going back now, that Earth is at the moment going through a big transformation process, and this is what we can look forward to eventually when we choose, when we choose to use our imaginative powers again, when we get the power back. And then we can create everything, just as the Venusians do, because they are our ancestors. And they are here to remind us of what we have forgotten. It's as easy. We just have to unlearn all the crap that's filled in. And remember really, again, who we are, that we are souls and that we are creative beings and that we can create the world that we live in and not have it created or dictated or being manipulated by other forces. We have to make an end, put an end to that. And so this is Omnec's, one of Omnec's biggest missions, to remember us of who we are, the powers that we have, and that we start applying them again. Not only knowing, but also applying it. Yes, this is the poster that we used to use in Germany during all these years when Omnec was giving presentations, and we were so many times traveling together, and I was of course then put in the position of translating her. The first years, you know, I was a nervous wreck. I mean, I was not only insecure about everything, I was just an insecure, shy person. And but Omnec put me through all my fears and all my insecurities and always wrapped me in love so that I could overcome it all. This is one of her greatest powers, that she's really a pure being of love, because she never judges anything. She's never really stressed out or so, you know, but she's always supportive. And she always saw within me everything that I have not a clue that was within me. And now, after 30 years almost, it's coming out more and more, and I'm still a little puzzled myself. I don't really know what's going on, because I have been going through such a tremendous awakening process in the last years, and I'm going into a little bit of my initiations and awakenings as well. Because, of course, I was not an awake being when I was born, you know. It was really starting with Omnec. And, oh, yeah, that's, okay, no, then I have to go back. Because the first awakening, I'm going through some points of my book, of course, because this is what I feel is so, for me, important to share. I don't really know why. Maybe it's for somebody interesting to hear it, because it's inspiring. What I experienced, my first initiation kind of was with Omnec when she was in my bookstore during, I think, the second time when she was there, because the first time when she arrived, I was so nervous that I was too overwhelmed. It was just I was just unable to receive anything. I just had to deal with everything. And I think it took me about half a year to get adjusted a little bit to Omnec's presence in my life, and that she would even return for a second workshop and a second visit at my bookstore. This must have been in '98 then, I guess. And then we had a workshop in the bookstore, and we were sitting in a little circle. Of course, we never attracted big crowds of people, as you can imagine. I mean, it's a while ago, and it was a little city in Bavaria, hardcore Catholic. So, of course, I couldn't really reach thousands of people or hundreds of people. It would have been too much for me anyway. So, sitting there with 10 or 12 people was enough. And Omnec was giving a workshop. She's a talker. She can talk 4 days non-stop. And she was giving beautiful workshops. She was teaching the whole journey of soul, how the soul is created, and how the soul is traveling through the levels of dimension, and where she came from and everything. She has been sharing beautiful stories of what she experienced and so on. So she was sitting there and talking and sharing and teaching, and all of a sudden our eyes met, and it was this gaze, this darshan that happened. And I received the energy right flowing into my eyes, into my heart. And my heart opened for the first time in a way that I have not experienced before. And I felt love. I felt loved. I felt I know now what unconditional love is. And this gave me a validation of Omnec's power, and it started to grow, and I think this experience lasted for a while. And during the exchange in the group, I think this must have been the first time that I already dared sharing something, because I was so touched about this experience that I spoke it out in the group, and I said what happened and that I felt love. And I feel I had to say that so that Omnec also receives so the connection was going deeper with that experience. And from that time on, we started working together temporarily. She was also sometimes living with me together, and we were traveling sometimes. And as I said, I started translating. I was really thrown into this experience of suddenly having to translate her. This was a nightmare, because it was right the first time when she started talking about the true story of Christ. And this was an information that just had come through to you. And I know that Wolf, her former manager and music producer, who was supposed to translate everything and who was already used to it and relaxed enough and everything, that he had to leave earlier, and then all of a sudden I had to do that. And this was really, really hard, because the energy was so strong, so high, the language, plus I didn't understand the content, because I'm not aware of the Bible. I'm not educated in religion or in anything like that. So I really had to stumble my way through this translation, and all the people were so interested in what she has to say, and all the attention was on me to get it right in German. This was, my goodness. But it's also in the book, The True Story of Christ, according to what Omnec has to say about that. It's in the blue book, by the way. And yeah, since then, this process of spiritual awakening went on, and I had to go through a lot of experiences. That's all in the book. And the second thing that I would like to share with you, that has not directly to do with Omnec, and I haven't really figured out the connection yet, to be serious, is about the Phaistos Disc. I feel, because it's so important for me, I would like to share it with you. This is an artifact. Is anyone of here aware of the Phaistos Disc? Does any one of you know it? Oh, that's interesting. So this thing is made of clay, and it's hanging. It's permanently exhibited in the archaeological museum in Heraklion in Crete. And it has a diameter. It's like that, like a plate, and it's stamped on both sides. So obviously some being must have created little stamps and put them into the wet clay in this specific order. As you can see, it's a spiral, both sides are different, and both have a different energy. So this is just something for everybody individually to explore if you feel anything like interest or if you feel a resonance with it. I'm sharing this with you because I received a big... What happened is I was guided to work in an office in the year 2000 as just a simple job. I just needed a job. I wanted to have a job, and I was guided to work there as assisting something very simple, ordering, putting papers in order, reorganizing things. And this company was a software company, and the boss who originally created this company, founded it, he used the Phaistos Disc as his logo, as a symbol for language, because computer chips carry information, and the Phaistos Disc, because of the symbols and the energy that he is carrying, also carries energy and information. So this guy must have really also felt some connection, that it is a bearer of information. And I was working there, and while I was copying, doing my copy work every day, and this Phaistos Disc was hanging there at the wall, and I was doing my copy work every day, and I didn't really pay attention so much on this poster. It was a poster with the Phaistos Disc. And during that time, because of the initiation that I already had from Omnec, I was already going through a process of having risen my energy and my frequency. I was already in an elevated state. And when I was obviously high enough in resonance with the Phaistos Disc, something magical happened. And the magic was that a ray of light came out of the center of this Phaistos Disc right into my third eye. And it was opening, and I was seeing the light, and within me, so all these, everybody who is studying all these glands and all these things, you know, I don't know so much about this, but you know what's all going on in the brain. So all that was all of a sudden in full function. And I could see and hear everything, and I was completely aligned all of a sudden. And I instantaneously knew I have to go to Crete. I didn't care about the job anymore, or nothing mattered, but I was not losing my mind fully at this moment. This came later. So I was still able to wait until the right time would come to really put my body into the plane and to fly to Crete. So I knew there was still a little time in between, but I knew this was my path. So I was so extremely intensely guided all of a sudden because of this intuition that was triggered, that was initiated. And everything that happened from that moment on I was really all of a sudden having this memory. It was getting more and more of being a multidimensional being, and I really was losing my mind in a way, you know. When I looked backwards, it was in the year 2000, now it's 2023, and it took me really almost 20 years to completely process all these experiences that happened in that time, during that time. Memory activator, did I say, from Atlantis? Yes. So to cut this short, I think it was then just a few months later when I really landed in Crete. And when I was in Crete for the first time, to see the Phaistos Disc what I actually did not manage during my first visit, and I also know why, and I can also say that why I know that I could not enter the archaeological museum during my first visit. But I was in Phaistos, and Phaistos is a place in southern Crete, ruins, right? A palace, just stones. And when I was walking around there for the first time, I felt like a 3 meter, I mean, I don't know what, a few feet high being, androgynous, just a light being. And I felt this queen, this female, divine, feminine energy. Just perfect. And all of a sudden, I also had this realization that this Phaistos Disc and Crete and all this has something to do with Atlantis. And I felt that the being who created the Phaistos Disc created it for the purpose of being found thousands of years later by itself to return its memory. I felt that the circle would be closed through that. Am I expressing this correctly? Do you understand me? Yeah? It's a circle. It's a full circle. I felt, I mean, yeah. I have the feeling yes, but I don't know if it is, but I don't know who I is. We, the spirit, so all of us who feel somehow connected to that particular artifact, I would say, are part of this memory, are part of this realization. It brings everything back. I mean, everything that I experienced with the Phaistos Disc was just, I experienced the full light, and afterwards, for a few years, for a period of time, I also went through the utmost darkness until I was really almost losing my soul. I came to the ultimate panic and the ultimate fear. So I had to remember both sides and to integrate both sides. So to fulfill, to come to completeness. It's not just one, it's both. So it took me then, after these experiences, as I said already, almost 20 years to balance it all out and to come to the point of my third initiation that happened last year. Yeah. So I have no idea how much time I have. I can also, I'm a little Omnec, so I can also talk for hours, even if it's not my language, but how much time do I still have? 20 minutes. Okay, then I'm not going to play this for the whole 10 minutes. It's just something to relax for a moment. It's just something that I feel is so beautiful. It's a music, and it's you know all the Venus flower, certainly. The Venus flower, it says 8 Earth orbits equal 13 Venus orbits with 5 Earth-Venus kisses. And this is what happens when during Venus and Earth, when Venus and Earth are circling around the sun, they kiss each other at 5 points, and this is how the Venus flower is created, the symbol, and this is also my logo. My logo, my Venus Spirit logo, is made of this Venus flower, and this is supposed to be Venus on top. The rose one and the blue one is the Earth, and this shows this beautiful connection between our sister planet Venus and the Earth, our sister planet Venus, that is so close to us, not only physically but also in our hearts, because it's our ancestors, part of our ancestry, and it's the spirituality and the essence of divine wisdom and divine love that is being brought back to us. so that we can also rise and be these beautiful souls again and these beautiful conscious creators that we truly are. We just have to remember it. And this is why Venus is so close to us and inspiring us non-stop with its energy and love. And to just let this sink in for a moment, I would like to play this little video. The Venus-Earth dance. I think probably all of you know already Dr. Raymond Keller, and my Venus and I story includes him because you know, after I met Omnec, I spent really 25 years just with her spiritually as at my side, as my mentor, my teacher, my inspiration. And I was not really ready or open to really receive so much other information from others or new information, because I needed all these years to process everything. And yeah, and then in 21 it was actually after Rob Potter and Brad Marcus, my friends, made me aware of Dr. Raymond Keller's presence. And in the beginning I was just like, okay, fine. And they kept, somehow they repeated making me aware of him. And then all of a sudden I got this inspiration of getting in touch with Ray. I sent him a message on Facebook and said that I'm Anja, the friend from Omnec and assistant and so, and I heard you were on Venus as well. I messaged him because I didn't really understand how this could be, because I always only knew Omnec's story, that there's just life on the astral level of Venus. I was not aware that there's anything else. And I asked him, were you on the astral level, or was it an astral travel or physical? And he said, yes, it was physical. And I was like scratching my head. I don't get it. How can this be? But I immediately felt this deep respect for Ray. I knew he is authentic. I knew he's telling the truth. So I felt this is a beautiful connection. And we had directly the feeling of getting to know each other a little better. We had a Zoom call, and then he said, oh, it's so many years ago, 30, 40 years ago, that I have been to Germany. I would love to come back one day. And then of course, this was clear. I would organize Ray's visit to Germany and a tour, and I would translate his book into German, the first one, The Venus Rising. So all of a sudden, this whole new world opened. And this is something that's part of this whole story, my Venus and I story, because from my perspective, Omnec has always been my spiritual teacher, my heart, and Ray brought this new or this other energy into my awareness and into my consciousness and my spiritual awakening. He represents more the male part, the masculine, and so these both brought me into a new level of experiences and of new awareness and of combining the feminine and the masculine. So a whole new world opened. And it was really, really intense in the beginning, because his book is really no words. I mean, those of you who don't know Venus Rising, read it in English and imagine translating it to another language in 4 months. And I had helpers, but still it was really such a big project, and it was hard. But we made it, and we organized a tour together, and in 2022 he was in Germany, and we had an amazing time together. We gave workshops, and no, not workshops mostly, but talks together, and we were such a good team. And yeah, this is in 2018 when Omnec and Ray met for the first time here. So this is the second time that Omnec and Ray meet again here in Mount Shasta. And for me, it's the first time being with both of them at the same spot. So this is something I've been looking forward now since the whole year, to be with my spirit guides, my physically incarnated spirit guides and mentors at the same place. This is just like family, you know. Nothing can ever happen anymore. This is just beautiful. Yeah, this is the German book, 10 minutes. Oh, thank you, that's a perfect sign. Oh yes, I will not have time now to go into these details, maybe some other time. just to give you an idea, because these two charts are in my book, they are explained in my book. This is the God worlds, or the levels of consciousness, is an illustration that I created according to Omnec's teachings. This shows the divine, so the white is God, or the creator, and then here's the soul dimension, the etheric dimension, the mental, the causal, the astral, and the physical dimension. It's an illustration that you can imagine, or that you can work with for imagining the levels of consciousness, and explained in our books, not only in mine, but in all our books, because it's such a basic information, a basic spiritual teaching from Omnec. And this one is a new one that I just created specifically for my book, because I think everybody is at the moment aware of the transformation process, and everybody's talking about timelines and about timeline splits, and the Earth is going through this process and that process, and there's, I mean, the whole spiritual community is talking about that, as far as I observe. And this is another illustration that I created to show this a little bit visually, how I visualize it, how I envision this, what we are at the moment facing. So this is the Earth that we are still on, and according to my information, this 3D Earth has come to a point where this experience is going to come to an end, and so that all souls have a choice whether they want to go into the world of transhumanism and more technology and full manipulation and even more control and all this that most of us are probably already aware of. So this would be the even darker side, or the even more far away side from the divine. And the other Earth is the 5D Earth, so this is the higher dimension that's more now towards the astral level of Venus development. So this is just in a few words what this is supposed to explain, this chart. And what I also wanted to share with that is that everything is in the divine. So according to my understanding, there's nothing exists outside of the divine, because everything is part of Creator, is part of the Creator. So even those souls, maybe, who are deciding for some reason to go that way, nothing is lost, and no soul is lost. Everything is still part of the divine. This is what I wanted to share with this illustration, according to my understanding. And this is the last part that I now can only just shortly touch upon. Venus love is unconditional love. So these two illustrations show the twin flames, and according to my experience, that is my third initiation that I had last year, that I had this twin flame encounter and twin flame experience. So since then, I'm going through this process of realizing what all that is and being aware of this spiritual truth. And I feel that these twin flames are more and more now not only incarnated, but also encountering each other to have the heart, the full heart opening, and to have the realization of unconditional love and union within themselves. So it's not a romantic thing, it's not about relationship. I feel, according to what I experience, these encounters and these experiences are to awaken. They are the spiritual awakening of the individual, and to bring oneself back to union with the divine. Because we all have the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us. And to balance this out within us is something that is now at the moment so important, I feel, to be the love, to be the unconditional love, and to also shine this love and to share this love unconditionally. This is what helps raise the human beings and the planet's frequency, and also to break old patterns of relationships and old structures that are just simply outdated, and they are part of the old system. So the love changes. everything that's not true love is changed by true love. Yeah, so this is just another illustration about the twin flames, showing how this works, that it's all the oversoul, and it's a dual incarnation at the same time of the same soul in two bodies. And this is, as I said, as far as I experience, this is the path of one path of ascension. It's not the path. There are many paths of awakening, and every soul chooses its own path. This is just one avenue of awakening. Yeah, I love the dark crystal. It's an Atlantis memory, but I can't go into this now anymore. We came to break the matrix. This is something, just an image. I think I found it somewhere on Facebook or so. I feel this is what I feel for me personally, that I can resonate with, that all those souls who have soul recognition, who have soul memory and self-realization, and fully embrace their heart, their love, and their light, that we are the light bearers, and that we are the ones who are changing the system and creating a new earth. So that the earth can finally be again what it is supposed to be, what the Creator wants it to be. It's a free earth. It's a beautiful planet, full of love, full of multi-dimensionality, and a variety of beings who are living together in harmony with each other, in freedom, and respect for each other. Oh, these are our books and Omnec's 3 CDs. I don't have the CDs with me, but I have them all also as downloads on my website. But I have all the books here with me during the whole time, of course, and also today. Yeah, may the universal love and blessings be, and let's make an amazing new earth happen. Thank you very much.